What is happening, weight loss warriors? Would you like to have some tips on what to do if your weight plateaus? Stay with me, I got your back. Weight plateaus happen, but you can go from this to this if you use these tips. Stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. It's C-Dub and I'm bringing you some information. I got a few different ways to help you lose more weight when you're plateauing. So we've all been there, and most recently on my weight loss journey, it's happened to me a couple of times. So I'll give you some tips on what I was able to do to get myself out of those ruts. The first one is to shrink your window. So you're going along and you're doing a 16-8 and you're eating from 10 in the morning till 6 at night, and everything's going fine and you're losing weight, it's coming off you, and then out of nowhere, did 2 weigh-ins in a row and I haven't lost any weight. So if you go from 10 to 11 and you try for a week, you might actually be able to kick your body in that extra little bit of time to kick your body in and burn some more calories, burn some more fat during that window. And that may improve you just enough to be able to get that weight going again. So, and if you haven't heard me say it before, 1 weigh in a week is the only way to go. You guys are weighing every day, your weight's going to fluctuate and be inconsistent, and it's just not a good plan. So 1 time a week is a better deal. So, you get in there, check that weight. It's plateaued for 2 weeks, and you got 0 movement on the scale. Go ahead and incorporate shrinking that window an hour, 2 hours, or even more. And sometimes you can kick it back. Maybe 4 hours on your eating window and only do a warrior diet for a little bit, and then you get your weight moving again, and then increase it back up a little and maybe move it back to 6 hours and see if you can continue to lose from there. You just needed to kick that into gear a little bit and get yourself moving. So the next one is to move more, and that can start with steps, but it could be anything. So the biggest plateau I was in was probably a 3-week plateau. And it was 0 and 0 and 0 week after week. I might have lost a half a pound. And I was going into that last week of the month, and I was thinking to myself, you're going to go an entire month without losing any weight. You're done. You're staying at 210 pounds. That's what I was at the time. I remember it. It was hurting me. And I would do anything in the world to get off the number 210, but couldn't get off 210. So I just started walking more. And I went probably from 5 to 10,000 steps at that time, and I was nailing 10 every day for the next 7 days. I go back, I get on the scale, and boom, 7 or 8 pound weight loss. It was the biggest weight loss I had since the first month of the journey. And so, because you guys know when you first start off, you can drop a good chunk in the beginning, and then it slows down a little bit at a time. And then out of nowhere, boom, 7 pounds. So, and all I was doing was moving more. And there's a good chance that a lot of it was water weight that was just being retained. And when I got moving and stepping, maybe I got my body sweating a little more and got my body moving and got rid of that water. And then boom, I've lost the fat, but now it has showed up on the scale. And that made me feel way better about it. So move more. Next tip would be change a little something in your diet. Do something a little different. Maybe even changing your time a little bit. Maybe you were going 10 to 6. Maybe shift it to 8 to 4 or something. Move your window a little bit and see if that helps. Scoot it a little bit later at night, or whatever the case is, earlier in the morning, just for a week, and see if it shifts your weight for a bit. Sometimes you can shift your window. You're changing it up and you're mixing it up for your body. And your body's going to answer that by kicking back into, because it doesn't know. It's like, oh no, what's he doing? What's he doing? He's not getting enough food. He's not getting in the right place. Maybe now you switch the window and they're like, oh wow, he is getting enough food. Let's start burning some of that fat off. So, you just have to play with that a little bit. Cut something out of it. Another time I was plateauing, I was eating these little teeny Walmart cheesecakes because they're just absolutely delicious. And I was eating one every single day because I'm like, hey, it's 500 calories. I burned 500 calories. Exercise of the day. I'm going to have me this little cheesecake. And I was losing weight. It was fine. Then after a while of doing that, stopped losing weight. So then I cut those cheesecakes out and boom, back down. The scale starts moving again. So, it could be a little thing like that you put in there. And that doesn't mean you can't have that cheesecake, because I'll go to Walmart and get one next week. They're good. But having one every single day is probably a little ridiculous. And I was being a little ridiculous at that point in the journey. But, You live and you learn. So take something, change it up. Maybe cut back on the salt. Maybe add in apple cider vinegar. Maybe do something that you're not doing to change your body up and make it a little bit different. Another thing you can do is if you've done 2 weigh-ins in a row and it's the same, just don't weigh in the next week. Skip a week. So you weigh in every Friday morning, skip that Friday. Go a whole nother week so that you're not stressing and you're not thinking about it. And then a week later, that result probably will shift a little. And so then you might lose that pound, and then that might motivate you to get doing some of the other things and moving a little more and making some things happen. So I think that could be something that truly could work out well for you, is to not sweat it all that much. So the next one, the 5th tip, and I'm going to give you guys a bonus one too. But the 5th tip in this situation is strength training. And so, what you would think is the opposite, because now you're building muscle. But whenever you start to lift weights, you increase your metabolism. And your body has to burn more energy because you're requiring it to heal all of yourself, your muscles. So it makes common sense that if you just start lifting weights, your body has to adapt to that by burning more calories. And so if you're not intaking more calories, but you add strength training into your plan, all of a sudden I think your weight's going to start to shift. And it may take an additional week or 2, because now you are building muscle. So you might get on the scale and you put on a pound of muscle and lost 2 pounds of fat. Put on a pound of muscle, lost 2 pounds of fat. You might notice your pants start to get a little looser. Clothes start to fit better, but the scale isn't moving at first. But then out of nowhere, you're going to see the scale just start dropping because you are burning that fat. And once it gets rid of your water weight, boom, all of a sudden you have that 10-pound kind of week. So add strength training in there. And the last tip is, if you're already going to the gym, add 10 minutes to it. Doesn't sound like that much, but if you're going to the gym 6 times a week, you add 10 minutes to it, you just worked out an hour more calories. That's 500 more calories a week. That's energy burnt. And from very minimal effort, to increase your gym time by just 10 minutes could be the thing that busts through that wall and gets your weight to start rolling again. But if you're frustrated and you're struggling, try to do those things. You can always increase your water. That's another thing you can do. So whatever you do, monitor what you do a little bit more. If you're like me and you kind of don't have a set diet where you go, but you do know occasionally, you eat the wrong thing. So maybe for a week or 2, cut that out. I think you'll bust through the walls and the numbers will start dropping again on the scale. So stay positive, keep at it, and turn that failure into a success on the next weigh-in. All right, see you guys next time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Comment. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Peace.